at the new Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Oh, he's a good goalkeeper. No doubt about that. In years of experience at Newcastle United. Quality performances showed us what he's capable of. That looks offside. Not going to get the ball anyway.
Too long from Mata.
Certainly not no hopers are Norwich City tonight. Extremely difficult, as we've always mentioned, as he's mentioned already. But cup football usually is supported with a fantastic atmosphere, isn't it? They're not blessed with that tonight, or their home play. So that's extra onus on them to create whatever kind of energy they can do to try and force the issue with United.
And Carrow Road was such a special place this season, and the fans played such a massive part when they beat Manchester City and they beat Leicester City in the Premier League.
Yeah, I was at the Leicester City game and the atmosphere was absolutely electric. Fantastic night of football it was. Leicester City weren't at their best. Norwich was superb that night. Really sucked all the energy that was buzzing around the Carrow Road Stadium that night. Take a deserved victory.
That Norwich City formation, when they don't have the ball, very much a 4-5-1 with the Pukki alone up front. Just a couple of penalties for him in his last 14 games. And here's McTominay.
Yeah, they're one of those teams, though, Jonathan, who will break very quickly and freely when they do have the ball. Cantwell and Bundy in particular will have to get as far forward as they can and support Pukki quickly. That was the hallmark of some of their better performances and results early on in the campaign.
What a bench for Manchester United today. Pogba there and Martial and Rashford, to name just three. And Shaw getting forward and towards Jesse Lingard, who's had a really frustrating season. Not a good touch there by Fernandes, and Pukki nearly nipped in. His goals last season really took Norwich up. But he hasn't scored a goal from 28 shots in free play in the league, Teemu Pukki. And it's another free kick here for Manchester United, and his team against Everton on Wednesday were undone by a set piece. He's a very affable coach. He's Daniel Farke.
He's stuck by his players, he's been pretty loyal, hasn't he?
And I think they'll stick by him, you know, even if they go down.
Absolutely.
It's a very well set up club behind the scenes now, Norwich. They've learnt from their previous yo-yo experiences when too much money was thrown away. And the club, of course, had a desolate financial future at one stage. It's not much sounder footing these days. And that's a good interception here. And he is certainly a creative talent, and he worked hard to get in that position. Came off the bench against Everton. I thought did well. I was here on Wednesday night, and such a surprise around the city when the team news came out and Buendia and Cantwell and Pukki had all been dropped. Was he keeping his best team back for this? Surely you don't sacrifice Premier League football.
Well, ordinarily, you know, that's not been the case, has it, throughout Premier League history? Certainly recent Premier League history, where coaches have tended to play their stronger sides, their best players, it's regarded as their number one 11 if they can. Ooh. Well, that's a flop, isn't it, from Eric Bailly, and he's won the free kick.
Well,
I'm not sure what the officials saw there. Kenny McLean certainly didn't make much contact on the Manchester United centre-back. Here we go, this will just confirm for us. Yeah, hands on, and then there's the dramatic back kick and flop forward. It didn't even look good, did it? But he got away with it.
He did. Eric Bailly off the high board. He's had a rough old time with injuries, hasn't he? He was runner-up in this competition, though he was on the bench a couple of years ago. He's only had the one league start in 2020. He was out until mid-February after his knee operation. There he is, though. Very important for United. He is back in the squad, but dispossessed by Cantwell. Pukki a little half touch on it, and Mata gets it back, and McTominay holding in the deep midfield role with Fred.
We're just showing one or two signs of rust as well. Eric Bailly is too easily robbed on that far side. Teemu Pukki wasn't able to control the set himself. It's good hustling from Cantwell, isn't it? Yeah, just trying to a little bit too clever, just to roll the ball underneath his foot. Yeah, Pukki is actually hardly muscled out of it by Harry Maguire.
Buki closing down on by. Cantwell is probably Norwich's most saleable asset if they do have to part with one or two of their youngsters, if they do go down. Now here's Lingard turning, getting the shot away, and it deflects up off Alex Tettey and away for a corner kick.
As I mentioned, though, with the younger Jamal Lewis, as we were running the rule over the guys in the warm-up, I don't think a season in the Championship would harm Todd Cantwell too much at all. Another sign to mature, to progress a little bit as well.
He's only 22.
Yeah.
Luke Shaw, good season he's having. Looks for Maguire. And safe hands for Tim Krul, who's only kept 4 clean sheets in his 11 FA Cup ties. As far as last quarter-final came against Manchester United back in 2018.
It's a hopeful ball really from Luke Shaw from the inside left position, and really allowing Harry Maguire the opportunity to attack it because there was no pace on it.
You said Tim Krul, a good goalkeeper, was very popular down at Brighton when he was in that side that went to the last 8, and he wanted first team football, that's why he moved on. It's Kenny McLean. Now Lewis, give and go with Cantwell, and he's got there, and he sets the chip up to the far post. Really want Emi Buendia 5 for 8 in that position.
Yeah, Luke Shaw positioned himself well enough, and once again across to the player was just a little bit too high. And it's so much more difficult then to time your own and to get power onto the header.
Here's Dalot. Now Juan Mata. Terrific record in the FA Cup, won it on a couple of occasions, scored in the final 2016. Dalot. And he parked his body in the way and gets the cross in. He had away, Tete swung a languid boot at it.
Not that Daniel Farke would ever admit it, Jonathan, but I'm convinced that he was saving those players you mentioned for today's game, knowing that league status is gone really. You know, it's of course mathematically it's possible they could win all of the remaining matches, but let's be honest, that's not going to happen. And I wouldn't blame him at all for trying to get the best out of them in 3 more matches, if possible. Today, a potential semi-final, and who knows, if you're a Norwich City fan, you might as well dream a day out at Wembley.
Well, if it is a forlorn league season, the new campaign starts so quickly after this one will finish, and to go out on a possible high of a Wembley appearance, you know, whether if they are in the Championship, would buoy them, wouldn't it? Would boost them massively, the fans, I think.
Absolutely, it would. Yeah, you know, the club has never been to the FA Cup final, so that would be a major step. A couple of semi-finals before, but just going one better would be some kind of consolation.
Good intent by Mata, but the ball was slightly too long for Luke Shaw. There's David De Gea once again on the substitutes bench for the FA Cup. Romero has been an ever-present and not conceded a goal in it this season. Buendia with the touchback. Shaw. For Igalo. Here's Bruno Fernandes. And Cantwell quick to press. There's more of a spring in the step of Norwich today in the opening 10 minutes than there was in 90 minutes really against Everton.
Well, I've seen this in many a game, Jonathan, over the last, certainly not in the last couple of games, yes, but certainly before lockdown.
Lingard's come to the right-hand side, now Mata. It's deflected away off Cantwell, and another corner kick then for Manchester United, who were on their best unbeaten run since November 16 to January 17. And they went 17 games without defeat, they're now 13 without a loss, and Lingard. Fernandes into the box, and Tim Klose got it away.
No matter how good you are, you need reward for the hard work that you put in matches. The running, the defending, the tackling, some of the less glamorous part of the job as a professional player. And whether you're Liverpool or current champions, if you keep on playing well in patches, you don't get the results, don't get shots, the goals, etc., then confidence drains from you. So when you're at Norwich and you're not getting that, and then you're losing pretty much every week, that's very demoralising. These periods of positivity need to be rewarded with something. When they don't get them, opposition teams just become even more confident knowing that that's the best that they can offer.
There's Lingard wriggling his way through. I'll give Canary and Green back there.
His own play's got in the way then, Jesse Lingard.
Out by Max Aarons, another one of these promising Norwich youngsters, came through the youth team ranks. He was in the Championship team of the season last season. He's tucked up there doing well with Igalo. And now Shaw. And Bruno Fernandes hit Tete.
Never
The
shy
serving
when it
outfield player is Alex Tete.
And there's never shy now. Lining up for a shot, 25-30 yards out.
He needs to rediscover his best form, Jesse Lingard. Unfortunate here, really. Good slalom.
It was all pretty tight there. He's stretching in the end. McTominay's in close attendance. Mata and Igalo even closer.
69% Manchester United possession in the opening 13 minutes of play.
I always felt it was going to be a problem the longer Jesse Lingard's career went on, is that he's not a specialist. You can't identify him as a striker, and don't identify him really as a wide player. He's not really a number 10, so when you're caught in between all three of those positions, very often you are somebody who will suffer when teams are not playing well enough and they're finding a way to get the best out of everybody. It's up to you to find, to define yourself and a role for you inside anybody's team.
Jamal Lewis, Luton-born Northern Ireland international. Campbell, a chance here for Rupp. A rare start in the league against Everton, only a 6th league start. He went off, he didn't really do a great deal. The player signed from Hoffenheim.
That's good play from Igalo. That's what he's especially good at later on in his career, is receiving the ball, backing into people, controlling it, allowing his teammates time to get up and support him. As the options are there, more often than not, he will hold the ball for you.
And he's looking for a second cup triumph this season, having won the cup with Shenhua before returning to English football in January. Here's Campbell. Right start by him, and Lewis on the overlap. Left foot is his best foot. Poked it in and out by Harry Maguire. Mata with the touch.
Delayed Jamal Lewis. There weren't too many options actually in the box. He was just going to drive it on the angle back in towards Teemu Pukki.
Manchester United, very much the better side so far. You can see 35% of players been in the Norwich half. That's a dominant stat for the opening quarter of an hour of a match.
There's now the goalkeeper tested so far.
Romero's got to be the best number 2 in the Premier League, hasn't he? He's had 96 caps for Argentina. He's played in 2 World Cup finals, would have played in a third, but he was injured just before Russia 18. Slid up towards Sardin Igalo and through towards Tim Krul.
Yeah, I do wonder why guys sometimes of his experience will sit around except being number 2 by some distance as well. And he could quite clearly get himself a decent club elsewhere.
He's played at decent clubs in his career before. He's at Sampdoria, won the league at Alkmaar. Krul outside his box, had to clear it away. Met in the FA Cup in the 4th round in 93-94. Manchester United won here 2-0 and then went on to win the trophy that season. They thrashed Chelsea in the final. They've won on 10 of their last 12 trips to Carrow Road in all competitions.
Yeah, it's always been a popular hunting ground for a team from Manchester.
Lovely club, Norwich City. Beautiful city in itself. If we get a chance, I thoroughly recommend a walk around the cathedral and the castle and down the River Wensum if the weather's right. I did that on Wednesday, a couple of hours. Here's McTominay. 0-0 in what was once the 2nd largest city in England. Did you know that? in Tudor times, second only to London. Did you want to know that?
I'm always grateful for a little bit more knowledge, JP. I'd imagine that the Romans probably had a settlement here, didn't they? I would imagine.
Here's Lingard. He went on too far and away by Godfrey.
And the Vikings as well. Yes.
Yeah.
Very close to city, close enough to the sea.
It was a mighty river, the River Wensum, at one stage. A one-off game, anything can happen. It is the FA Cup, and as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said before the game, it's a wonderful competition. It's given us some wonderful moments this season. Buendia on, and Cantwell sends Timo Pukki away, and immediately Cantwell makes a beeline for the edge of the penalty area, and Jamal Lewis is coming in. This was headed away by Dalot.
It wasn't a bad ball, was it? Just over Cantwell, who made that run just inside the near post.
Very open early on the game. Here's Ighalo. Forced wide by Klose, who has to keep his feet.
And he couldn't. Yeah, just lost his footing, Ighalo. Does well, actually, to get the ball back off Klose. Yeah, he did very well after slipping. Just trying to set himself, control the ball and bring it back inside.
United ball. Klose has looked a little bit undercooked since he came back in the game against Southampton, which they lost here badly. The first week of the return to football, he had a knee injury against Crawley in the League Cup very early on in the season, and didn't return until that Southampton game, and has looked rusty in the 2 games they've played. McTominay, and here's Fred. Ighalo tried to tickle it away to Juan Mata. Good young player is the under-21 right back Max Aarons, the England under-21.
Yeah, they've got 2 promising fullbacks, haven't they, Norwich City? But it's been, on many an occasion, far too many for their liking, and chasing the experience. Because they found that coming into the big boy league, it's so much more about what you do going backwards as opposed to going forwards. Not quite the run of the park in the Championship last season. There certainly were two of the better fullbacks. And they found this season that as well as they get forward, if things don't go well enough, they get punished so often going backwards.
Something of a rarity, a misplaced pass by Bruno Fernandes.
And that's why I say sometimes that even Norwich, it appears to me, are going to get relegated. So using that greater experience that they have learned, going back into the Championship, and once again hopefully becoming a dominant force.
Cantwell diligent, but it drops to Dalot. And Diego Dalot swung his boot at it. That's a poor clearance away by Buendia. And luckily for Norwich City, Lucas Rupp was alert to the possible danger.
Yeah, just to round them a little bit more, if they do spend another season in the Championship, as I said, and who knows, then they could get promoted back up next season. Didn't do Jack Grealish any harm, I feel, for Aston Villa. He's come back a much more mature and polished player.
Rupp started against Everton, but he went off. He very rarely lasts 90 minutes. He's been sub 5 of his last 6 appearances, the man signed in January. Now Lewis. 20 minutes gone, 0-0. Not many of you would have seen this scoreline at this stage. Manchester United were red-hot favourites to win the tie. Fred, his best season for Manchester United. It's not saying much, to be fair. He was underwhelming in his first season from Shakhtar Donetsk.
It certainly took him time to settle. Big change, isn't it, coming from Donetsk and being Brazilian to begin with. It's a different part of Europe.
Here he is. And a good spell at Shakhtar, did Fred. Diego Dalot. Big expansive pass by Bruno Fernandes, spot on, excellent. Here's Luke Shaw. And Fred won the cup with Shakhtar. Ighalo turned. And a touch on there by McTominay, straight through to Tim Krul.
just warming a little bit more to their task in the last 5 minutes, Man United. Slightly hopeful flick from Scott McTominay. As he were that, Igalo is somewhere there, but could easily been cut out. I'm sure if it actually got to him, Igalo just tried to caress around with one touch, which he did, but a little bit too pacey.
0-0. Norwich with no form, Manchester United with all the cup pedigree, looking for their third semi-final in 5 years. And Norwich have a free kick here. Afternoon has turned out warm again after rather a dull start. Cloud just dipping momentarily in front of the sun there. And Romero on his toes. So we've got plenty of time as a goalkeeper. He's 33. 12 clean sheets in the FA Cup since he joined Manchester United. That's the best record in the country since then. Buendia with the free kick in.
Oh.
Max Aarons, little rush of blood to the head.
As he was lined up, I said, please not from that distance.
Last goal came December 2018 against Bristol City, Max Aarons. And we have a drinks break, which is due midway through each half of every game, around about the 22.5-minute mark, but it has to be taken at a natural break. It's supposed to last a minute. They've all lasted longer than a minute, the games I've been at, and on many of occasions you're seeing them used as a sort of timeout for the managers to add a little bit of coaching. There's talk about this being extended through to next season. Would you like to see that, Evan?
One word, no.
Do you think it's a valid thing? They obviously expected red hot temperatures in every game, and they're playing so many games in a short period, but
only thought as well with the players having an extended break and with the heavy schedule between the first game back after lockdown and the 26th of July, I think we play our last league matches. It's a heavy pressure period, I understand that. A couple of games a week for everybody. So just to give them that little bit of an extra breather, so I get that, that's fair enough, but really, I don't think we have to have this in place for next campaign. In a tournament scenario, yes, why not? Especially if we've got extra temperatures. I mean, that would have been great in the World Cup in '94 in the US. It was quite warm. If you went there, I'm sure you did.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I remember I did an Ireland game down in Orlando, and one of the Irish boys, I think it was John Aldrich, went to throw a water bottle out to a teammate because it was scorching temperature, very humid down there, and the referee wouldn't let him.
Yes, I remember. Yeah.
And I can't remember who they were playing.
Jack Charlton was having a running argument with one of the officials as well. I think maybe an over water break, or just only trying to make a substitution as well. But it all got a little bit fraught, didn't it?
Yeah, it was the Dutch they were playing. There's Fred. 25 minutes gone. I wonder if the tempo of the game will now pick up after the water break. One shot by Norwich, 3 by Manchester United. We've not had a shot to test the goalkeeper yet. Has to be settled today. Replays at this stage of the competition, and there is an argument that there might not be replays at all next season. There's so much football to pack in. You in favour of that?
Yes, I'm in favour of one off, one day. Let's get things finished, all done and dusted.
And Fernandes looks for Mata. He's crept further forward. And Mai slams it even further forward.
Well, I'd see a couple of changes to the FA Cup. To be honest, if I was in charge, I'd be quite radical. With the big boys coming in early on in the campaign, but being seeded and then playing away from home against lower league opposition to begin with.
As in Germany.
Yeah.
Pukki's hardly seen anything of the ball. Luke Shaw. I think he's having his best Manchester United season, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer certainly has managed him better than predecessors.
troublemaker now, aren't you, JP? He has played well. There's more belief in himself. Of course, playing on a regular basis every week, he's sharper.
That's a lovely ball attempted round the corner by Gallo. Didn't go through to McTominay, but McTominay was making that sort of run through the old inside right channel in the league game here early on in the season. Great effect. Norwich at the moment can't keep hold of the ball.
United have been pretty good so far. One or two players who've not quite found their feet. Juan Mata has been on the periphery of things, as is Jesse Lingard. You can tell the guys who are not seeing much game time, can't you? Especially in the final third. And you're taking chances and trying to make a difference. And your timing is not quite there. It's a little bit longer for you to actually get back up and running to anywhere close to full speed.
Cantwell. Interesting that McLean, when that throw came back to him, sort of shrugged his shoulders and exasperated look to suggest there was no movement up front. That didn't come through to Rupp, and Manchester United have it back again. Here's Mata. The referee says no foul. And Kenny McLean will go on, and he's got Cantwell to his left and Pukki to his right, and didn't need either of them, went for the goal.
Well, I certainly don't blame him for shooting Kenny McLean. That's a good opportunity. Big gap opened up. United looking for the foul on Juan Mata. Now it's taken not quite cleanly by Emi Buendia, but certainly got the ball some of the man as United back line is backing away. He lines himself up. He's a good striker of the ball, but it certainly was not. That's way over the crossbar.
First FA Cup start for him today. Former Aberdeen player whose one goal this season was a famous one, came against Manchester City in the win. Here's Luke Shaw, allowed to go a long, long way, and in the end Max Aarons did step in.
Half-hearted attempt at a cross in the end from Luke Shaw. He's looking for the cutback. Not firm enough, not angled enough to find a teammate. Option as well was just to smash the ball across the face of the goal. Norwich had plenty of players back.
Well, they defended zonally against the Everton corner kick that beat them on Wednesday. And they hadn't learnt from a lesson earlier on when Michael Keane was found in space, and Maguire, another centre-half, is up from the back. And the header was over by Eric Bailly.
Yes, the Keane goal was a run that was unchecked. And even as he was making his leap towards the ball, not enough presence around him. Even if you can't make it, just make it extremely difficult for the Everton man to get a clean header onto it, and they suffered for it.
He hasn't had a fit first choice back four all season, Daniel Farke. Now Sam Byron, Grant Hartley, Christoph Zimmermann all out for the season. As I was saying, closer there on the edge of the D, wearing 15. This is only his third appearance since August. I wonder whether that would have made a difference, or whether or not there was still a little bit too much naivety about them. But they've been refreshingly attacking.
Yeah, they played the football. They continued to play the way that they did in a championship that made it a very successful campaign for them. So I certainly don't fault Daniel Farke for that. Just my concerns very early on in the campaign were that if you don't take on that, if you don't take on the experience and don't have that ability to learn from mistakes that were made in a few matches of the season, because when everybody's fresh, they're a little bit more open to ideas. On the back of 12 or 15 defeats, it's harder then to change things. The players feel as if, we sort of suffered this way so far, let's continue the way that was successful, as I said, last campaign. The physicality of the side I've always been concerned about, even early on when they had a couple of good victories, most notably here against Manchester City. I was worried that they would have to try and play their way through teams so often, and without the ability to out-physique teams and to be tough enough defensively and grind things out, it would be a tough season for them, and so it's proved.
Here's Fred for Manchester United. Very much upwardly mobile again, the Old Trafford club. Still in this competition, in the hunt for a top four place in the Champions League and in the Europa League as well. Dalot, McTominay, veered out wide, and it deflects away off Jamal Lewis.
Just came back in time, the young Norwich left back. The space was about to open up. It's Anthony Martial. He'll be hoping for a few minutes action this evening. Trying to get himself another goal. Nice hat-trick last time out.
Dalot was caught by Todd Cantwell. He's been a very bright talent, Cantwell, but to improve his physicality, they were talking about it in the build-up to this game. The academy coach was saying they used to boot him a lot in training to toughen him up, and he was very interesting, Cantwell, his background. I'll tell you that in a minute, but here's Mata. And now Dalot. Stayed up. McTominay's in there, and out by Teti. And now Rupp. Poor ball. Hasn't really got to the pace of the game, but that's a much better pass from him. And Cantwell can now send Pukki away, and this is Norwich's best opportunity. He's had to veer to the right-hand side. Not placed with natural pace to get away from McTominay, though. And look at the red shirts pouring back. Here's Buendia. Cantwell back to him. Look at the number of red shirts so quickly back.
Yeah, good defending from Man United. Cantwell knows he's on his haunches. That's not a great ball, is it? Great opportunity. Could have taken the extra touch as Bailly decides to retreat, head towards goal. I don't blame him for the pass, actually, but as I said, not accurate enough. And you quite rightly called it, JP. He's not quick enough really to run away from defenders. Luke Shaw got back, made it difficult. And Cantwell looking for the 1-2 in the box. Buendia, I think he was blocked off, but certainly no foul.
Very intense as a young man in the academy, Todd Cantwell, and his parents thought maybe a little bit too intense, so that they dropped him out of it. And Norwich went along with it completely, and he went away from the club, and I think that's all credit to Norwich City. A number of other clubs might have turned around and said, well, if he's not up to it, he's not up to it, goodbye. And they kept faith in him, and the word is that did him the world of good. And he's come back as a very bright young prospect now. That's a good ball and a good take by Shaw.
Yeah, I'm sure that the time away from the football club reminded him of what he was missing. Realisation that this is actually what I want to do. If this is the way professional football is played, and then I've just got to accept it if I want to be successful. A spell in Dutch football as well, actually, I think served him well. Fortuna Sittard a couple of years ago.
He played a major role in their promotion, Set up the promotion goal and got injured in the process, but in the party afterwards he led the singing of You'll Never Walk Alone, which endeared him to fans over there. It's their club anthem as well.
On crutches, I'm impressed.
Here's Scott McTominay. Fred misplaces the pass.
Nice to see a young English player as well that will take take that chance, the opportunity. It's not easy to leave your comfort of your home surroundings and go and play your football away, albeit for only a few months of the year.
Cantwell might have got caught a little bit too late then. I guess there's been a fair little bit of singing of You'll Never Walk Alone in your household in the last 24 hours. Not suggesting which team you support, of course. But,
you've not given it away as a Borussia Dortmund singing Never Walk Alone, and a few others in Germany as well, I believe.
Fred. And here's Luke Shaw. Mata, clever little touch on, but there's enough yellow shirts back to crowd them out.
Good strike, fantastic block from Alexander Teti.
Unsung hero, I thought he was last season of the promotion campaign. Had his critics in his early years as a Norwich player, Alex Teti, when he first arrived in August of 2012. Played a major role for them in the last 18 months or so, certainly, as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer looks on.
And I thought he should have been in the side pretty much from day one in the season. Had a couple of injuries as well, but I think his presence would have been key. It could have been key to to some more points on the board.
Fred. Shaw. Maguire again, not careful enough in his passing, but they might get him behind here with Lingard, seen off by Max Aarons. Daniel Farke made his name as a manager with a club called Lippstadt. He took them from the 6th level to the 4th, but he took them to the Westphalian Cup quarter-final. And they beat a team called Dernberg at that level, and that's where he really first came to prominence in Germany. And then he got the job as Borussia Dortmund's reserve team manager, and of course there's a well-worn pathway from Dortmund through to the Premier League. Norwich cannot retain the ball. Let's see if they can do now. Oh goodness me, look at that possession stat now. Still 69% Manchester United with the ball.
And I think that's purely down to season fatigue, actually, Jonathan. Nobody who not watched Norwich in the early months of the campaign would have said that. Even, no matter who they're playing, that they would struggle to keep the ball. Very brave in and around the halfway line, looking to play passes, thinking forward as their first option if possible. I said when the end of defeats pretty much every week, it drains you physically and mentally more than anything. We played better than this, or as well as this last season, or we're playing better than last season, but we're still losing. Not against Man United or Liverpool or Arsenal or Chelsea, but sometimes against teams who we think are with us in a relegation scrap, or just above us, who've been mid-table teams in the Premier League. So that can all be very dispiriting, and that's why experience in your squad, I think, is vital. If you're brave enough to spend the money to strengthen the squad, bringing in people who've just been around the game a little bit more, who won't suffer too much from those mental and psychological up and downs.
0-0. Norwich have scored just 2 in the last 8 games. Manchester United have certainly been more fluent. 33 scored in that 13-game unbeaten run. They've only conceded 3 in that time. There's Eric Bailly and Juan Mata.
Got to do better with the ball there, Pukki. Steals a march on Fred. A little bit lazy with the ball retention. United once again on the attack.
And over ambitious with the overstruck crossfield ball. Try 1 or 2 of those, Bruno Fernandes, and they haven't come off for him. He's been a terrific creative talent this year for Sporting and Manchester United. He's been involved in 37 goals. Scored 19 this season for the 2 clubs. And here's Lewis for Norwich City. 7 to go in the first half. McLean. Godfrey. And that, and a quick young player. Here he is again.
They're so reliant on their fullbacks, Norwich City, for width, that when they are pressed back, once again, just let this attack peter out if it does.
It's all the way through by Diego Dalot.
And it has to be an ultra-defensive performance, and then getting through the middle of anybody's midfield is never easy, especially when you're short of confidence. So they found it hard. Buendia, Lucas Rupp and Todd Cantwell to any kind of dominance in the middle of the park, or indeed a good ball reception. Young Adam Ida, he's a guy for the future. Pacey goal scorer, no doubt about that. I'm sure that he will get many minutes in the Championship next season.
He scored a hat-trick in this competition against Preston back in round 3 in the 4-2 away win. They went to Burnley and won. They went to Tottenham and won on penalties, and there's a problem here for Todd Cantwell. Over on his ankle.
Yeah, he's already lost his footing before Harry Maguire comes in. In truth, there wasn't too much contact from the Man United captain, was there?
Over on the outside of his boot, you could see that.
Yeah. He just jarred the ankle a little bit. So there was no impact from Harry Maguire.
This is the furthest he's gone in the competition. Only Tim Krul previously in their side has reached this level of the competition. Daniel Farke looking on. Four minutes plus, I would say conservatively, at least 2 minutes of stoppage time, maybe double that. By this has been the most physical of contests, and restart football hasn't been overly physical, and I think that's an effect of having empty stadia.
Yes, indeed.
We've seen referees though not swayed by home crowds to make a decision, and we've seen very little dissent. Maguire. Lovely ball. Oh, Dunlop took his eye off it.
What you're trying to say, JP, is that the crowds are the instigator and the root of all the bad behaviour on the field.
No, what I would
they
say,
go the plays, do they?
what I would say, and I said this the other night, that I hope the people who run the game and that's its national organisation, world organisation, and club level realise the importance of the fans, because the fans make the game, don't they?
Absolutely. And particularly in England, the atmosphere is incredible, week in, week out, and for this competition in particular, the FA Cup is known for generating an extra level of frenetic activity, both on the stand, both in the stands and on the field. Sometimes a much more raucous atmosphere is very difficult to describe. You just have to be there to feel it, both as a player and as a fan. And this will make it a very difficult experience for both sets of players today, and indeed for the other cup ties the rest of this weekend.
Chance here for Norwich. Cantwell pulls it back, big chance for them, and it's a terrific block by Harry Maguire that saves Manchester United. Norwich's best opportunity. Good finish to the half, nearly came out then as well. Buendia swept his foot at it. Cantwell, and that's ballooned wide.
Yeah, Luke Shaw this time with the block. Cantwell will be disappointed with that finish. Harry Maguire will be chuffed with his block, no doubt about that. Lucas Rupp just took a little bit too much time to get himself set. Here's Cantwell, once he's in the box, is danger. Goes past Fred, good cut back. Yeah, that first touch from Lucas Rupp just sends it away from him. That gives Maguire the opportunity to close him down. Half turns his body, blocks it with that left calf of his. Best from Norwich so far.
2 minutes of stoppage time there will be.
Still, they weren't able to test the goalkeeper.
Neither has had a shot to save as we arrive into the last minute of the regulation 45. Here's Eric Bailly.
Just a reminder to all kids watching the importance of that first touch inside the box. Even when you feel you've got a little bit of space, it's got to be so tardy, because good defenders will come out and squeeze you very, very quickly. As Harry Maguire, the Manchester United captain, did extremely well.
I don't think Pukki's really working at his hardest though, and Norwich have always had hard-working centre forwards. You'll know that from your time here, and Dean Ashton and big Grant Holt and Dion Dublin and likes of Phil Bowyer, and many of our older viewers will remember him in the McDougall days, and you have to work hard here.
Yeah, despite the fact that the club is known for playing attractive football, there's always been a physicality, as all those guys you mentioned have had a presence about them. And even in modern day football today, it's so important for you to have a presence up front. You know, if you are not the all-conquering, all-powerful or super silky sides of Liverpool and Man United, then to be able to dominate opposition centre halves is key. It buys a lot of time, gives you great options.
Andy Madley was the man who put up the 2 minutes board there for stoppage time. I wonder if he stayed on, because he was here refereeing the Everton game the other day. And there's a hotel in the corner of the ground, and essential workers involved in the games can stay in that hotel. Now it's a bit of a lonely experience in there. I had it myself this week, and you have to stay in your room really. Not a lot else you can do. Needs must. Here's Fernandes. An opportunity now. Jesse Lingard. No great pace about that though. Fred. Lingard again.
And they don't have pace through the middle right now with Odion Ighalo. There's an opportunity to maybe just thread that ball through.
He only came all the way through then to bring in Fernandes. Mata, strong finish to the half, and over it goes from Lingard, claiming the corner. Goal kick given.
It's been a decent half of football. Not a great one by any stretch of the imagination. We talked about the absence of crowd that's not given us that atmosphere that we're so used to, especially at this stage of the FA Cup season. So Both teams are doing their best to generate it for themselves, and of course that is not easy. Norwich have contained well for large parts of the game. United have been the better side, but we talked about the inactivity of both goalkeepers. Tim Krul in particular will be happy about that. It'd be nice to see some more shots on target. I'm sure we'll get a few chances taken, more so by Man United, and expecting much better things in the second half.
John Moss blows his whistle, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer goes down to the dressing rooms below. Harry Maguire with one very big block late on. He had an opportunity at the other end as well, but his block denying Lucas Rupp probably the closest we've come. Neither goalkeeper having a shot to save at this moment in time. The absence of the crowd playing a major role in this FA Cup quarter-final tie. Half time, it's Norwich 0, Manchester United 0. There's always a passionate affair, always has been, Norwich against Manchester United. Manchester United inevitably have come out on top in the last decade or so. Off we go in the second half. The absence of the crowd has certainly made a major difference to this cup tie, but here's Dalot now for Manchester United, and in then towards Bruno Fernandes. And that is a magnificent ball played out wide, and a little slip there for Luke Shaw. Fred, good run into the penalty area. Fernandes tried to flick it back to Ighalo. The flag had stayed down and he would have been in there. He's such a forward-thinking midfield player.
Yeah, it's a good run. Unfortunately for him, it was on the wrong side for Fred, right foot. It's a lovely clip ball. Oh yeah, he's onside. He's onside. It looked way offside, didn't it, as the ball was getting close to him. That was a good call by the official on the far side.
Manchester United have their fourth corner taken short. Dalot into the penalty area, too long for Harry Maguire. Scored in that romp at Tranmere in the fourth round did Maguire, as did Dalot and Jones, Lingard, Martial and Greenwood from the spot.
Good ball from Fred, wasn't it? He's got a lot more time than he thinks he has, Bruno Fernandes. Going for the spectacular. Ball is coming over his shoulder, he's turning his body. Tim Krul was pretty much rooted to his line.
Just a reminder of the teams for you. Norwich is back 5 unchanged from the league defeat against Everton. And their central midfield 2 unchanged. And the return of Buendia, Cantwell and Pukki, the major talking points. Manchester United, Ramirez their cup goalkeeper. Maguire and Shaw stayed in from the Sheffield United game. Here's Cantwell.
That was a good move. Lovely link-up play. Cantwell coming to life early on in the second half. Just the final pass, he'd be disappointed he doesn't beat the near man at the post for Manchester United. Rupp with the nice ball, lovely the 1-2. He's almost off balance as well as Cantwell. Nobody on the cutback, only really Pukki in a goal-scoring position.
And they have their first corner kick of the game. Close up from the back. Came glancing off the head of McTominay. Now Pukki looking for close at that far stick area again. Bailly chopped it away. Tati, awkward ball there for Cantwell to deal with. Ighalo holding it up. Lingard to his left hand side. There he is, Lingard. So we need to get players up and around Ighalo quicker than they did in the first half. Fred. Maguire. Fred's run inside, opened up that gap to Luke Shaw. Headed away by Godfrey. Comes from a good sporting family, this Ben Godfrey. His dad was a rugby league legend, Alex. It's a pensive Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
We're disappointed with the end product of his team tonight. No doubt about that. Especially the more vaunted players in the attacking third, Lingard, Mata and Fernandes in particular. Martial, I'm sure we'll see him if things remain like this, another 15 or so minutes.
Away by Godfrey. Manchester United pressure. And here comes Tim Krul in the Norwich goal.
Everything just has to be that little bit more measured with Manchester United because they don't have that speed through the middle without Martial or Marcus Rashford. Garlo is not the speedster that they can look up with. Certainly Fernandez look up from 35 yards even and strike a ball over the top. But Garlo, unless he's really stolen a march on, it would have to be sloppy defending. He's not going to run away from too many defenders.
None of these Norwich 11 players have scored an FA Cup goal ever, apart from Buendia. And it's blocked and it'll be away. And Buendia gives chase. Including Buendia, I should have said. And there's a man with creativity to break the deadlock. Paul Pogba.
There's a delicious ball he played for Marcus Rashford, I believe. The game against Sheffield United, just flicked it almost so nonchalantly over the defender's head from about 2-3 yards away.
It was a brilliant ball, wasn't it? He had that cameo role against Spurs, won the penalty at New Tottenham Stadium. Here's Luke Shaw now.
Wise not to play him this evening, actually, just to ease him back in. He's been out for a long time.
Maguire. Bailly. Fred. McTominay. 5 minutes gone in the second half. Still no goals. Luke Shaw. He's run and it drops here to Ighalo, and Manchester United are ahead. Norwich looked to a flag that didn't come. 5 minutes into the second half. Well, he got a couple in the last round at Derby, and he's got one here today, and Manchester United in the lead at Norwich City now have the best possible platform to kick on and reach the semis.
It's a lovely finish from Ighalo. A little bit of luck. Luke Shaw is actually off balance. He's sort of nudged into, taking this or making this cross. Yeah, he's well onside. Godfrey on this near side, not able to push up quickly enough. In truth, that's not good defending, gets it from Norwich City. Two players going for the ball, and they've left Ighalo, who's ordinarily you would expect to be in an offside position, but as the fullback was drawn out to try and deal with Luke Shaw. That's a clever finish. Patient enough just to let the ball drop off. It's not quite off the boot, almost off the shin, but it doesn't matter. They all count from that distance. He just had to get it wide of Tim Krul, which he did.
Ighalo with the breakthrough goal on 51 minutes. And it's his fifth for Manchester United in 11 games. He was brought in short term until the end of June on loan. They wanted him to stay on an extended basis. Had a great start to his Watford career, didn't he? They petered out late on before his move away, and that's the first shot on target and the first goal of the game. And that goal really typifies Norwich's defending for most of the season. Two players going for the same ball, lacking communication. Here's McLean. Determined run from him, and he's forced a corner kick. They're not out of this yet.
No, not at all. It's only one goal. At the old-fashioned sucker punch I talked about earlier, that's when you have good periods in matches, you need to get some kind of reward for it. They started a brighter side in the second half. Cantwell linked up well once or twice, weren't able to test Sergio Romero. That's been disappointing, but United go down the other end and steal a march and score the first goal.
In comes Godfrey. Maguire stood firm. Rupp. Back by Pukki. Not too sure whether you want him there or on the edge of the 6-yard box.
And you really don't want the cutback in terms of a pass unless you're really on the move, and United defence is moving towards their own goal. It's far too easy to cut out.
In the corner from Rupp. And here's Aarons. Lingard there with him, and he got his foot in again. And that's a throw to United, who defensively have been so strong of late. Diogo Dalot. McTominay is making the run ahead of him. And Fernandes will keep it in. Here's Lingard. Pops it up towards that far post area, and Krul comes and collects.
Well, that goal should certainly bring some energy into the game. Manchester United, with the confidence they've been displaying and the results they've been getting in the last few weeks, they should be full of themselves. It's up to Norwich to respond as quickly as they can. Good cut back from Fernandes.
Something stirring at Manchester United these days. 10 clean sheets in 13 unbeaten games.
Good sign, isn't it?
Defensive solidity. We know there's goals by the hatful with Rashford and Martial. You know, Greenwood coming through. Creativity as well. It's 4-2-3-1. Would you, when Pogba gets back to his fittest, it's uncertain whether it would be a Manchester United player next season, but would you play him? Would you play a more genuine 4-3-3 with him in the midfield three? I wonder.
No, I'd be tempted to have some protection for Pogba. Not that he's an indisciplined player, but somebody who really would like to be a number 10. I don't think he ever will be, but if you've got two guys sitting behind you, whether it's Fred and McTominay or Matic and McTominay, whatever combination you like, and certainly could play him with Bruno Fernandes, take it in turns to do some defensive work, and then have a wider play in Rashford or Martial either side. Nice to have the quality of player though, isn't it? And then to be able to change formation as you see fit, depending on the opposition.
10 minutes gone in the second half.
Talent is there for United. It's been the cohesion, especially the early part of the campaign. It seems to have found that the confidence has come. It talks about validation for your work. For a club of this stature, they need to be picking up trophies, and at least to be playing in the Premier competition in Europe, the Champions League, of course. And it's going to be a tall order for them to achieve this campaign. There's Chelsea in the box seat right now. They could even overtake Leicester, and of course Wolves are not hot in their heels because they actually won earlier today, so they've gone above United.
Well, they have the Europa League advantage over Lask of Linz, 5-0 up from the first leg at the round of 16.
Yeah, winning that competition, of course, is a way into the Champions League next time round, and they will be one of the favourites, no doubt about that.
Here's Lingard. 5th place in the Premier League could get you into the Champions League as well with the Manchester City ban. Here's Lingard into the box. Are they going to Solskjaer if they hang on to this lead? Long way to go. They have 42 wins in 79 games at Manchester United. Started so brightly. Since Samat Busby in 1946 to win his first 5 league games in charge. Then they had the lull period, and they're coming on strong now, and they're dominating this game. Here's Lingard. McTominay could have got the shot away. Fred. Bruno Fernandes has given it away, and here's Teemu Pukki now for Norwich City. Didn't hold it up well. Perhaps they were a little bit sluggish in getting up with him, but he's cutting a very forlorn figure.
In truth, his hold-up play and possession has not been good throughout the whole game so far, Teemu Pukki. United have done well actually defending. I've seen a real urgency with their players to get back and defend when there's been any threat of a counter-attack.
There's been a little reaction there from Norwich since the goal. Started to hold the ball a little bit better. German cross met by Tim Klose. German-born Swiss international. Bruno Fernandes sees the run of Fred.
And these are the periods in matches, JP, when you're behind at home. Ordinarily you would have a full crowd here, some 30,000, trying to lift their side. Here's the goal once again. Luke Shaw with that. Across 2 players going for the ball, miscommunication. Igalo's left completely free. That wise old head that he has on his shoulders. Aware that there's far too many bodies for him ready to do anything effective going for that ball. Something just may happen. Teammate may flick it on, the ball may spin up into there just like that, and I can finish so close to it. He knows that he's just outside the 6-yard box. One touch will do from that distance.
Defensively it was a mess for Norwich